Okay, so this is the iPhone 11 Pro. It's over 2.5 years old at this point, so is it still a good choice today in 2022? It came out back in 2019, and back then, it was $999 for the base 64GB model. Now, you can pick it up renewed from Amazon for $549 or around $600 if you want to boost that storage up to 256 gigs. It's IP68 water and dust resistant, got a triple camera setup on the back, more on that later. It has stereo speakers, great haptics, it has 4GB of RAM. Now that might seem a bit low by today's standards, but for an iPhone, it's actually more than enough. Talking about the design and build quality, it still has a nice premium feel to it. It has a matte glass finish on the back with a glossy camera cutout, which is dope cause no fingerprints. But it does have that stainless steel frame though, which is yes fingerprints. On the other hand, it is pretty durable. The buttons are clicky and tactile, and it has that isolated mute switch just like every other iPhone. That's a feature I really like, it's really useful, and I would love to see more Android devices added in the future. But for now, there's only iPhones and OnePlus as far as I know. Still has those old school rounded edges, which are in my opinion actually a lot more comfortable when holding the phone than the new squared off ones. Flat edges do look nice and premium, but they make the phone feel kinda clunky at the same time. It comes in 4 different colors: space gray, silver, gold, and midnight green. I got the space gray version here because minimalism and stuff. Oh, and I really like the size of this model. 6.1 inches on the 12 and the 13 is a bit too much for me, so the 11 Pro is much more comfortable, coming in at 5.8. Not a huge difference, but paired with those rounded edges I mentioned earlier, it really is a nice middle ground between the minis and the regular 12s and 13s. Okay, so what about that 5.8 inch display? Well, it's 5.8 inches. Go figure. It's OLED, HDR10, Dolby Vision, 800 nits of brightness, peaking at 1200. It's a nice display with really accurate colors, and it's basically the same as the one on the regular iPhone 13 actually. Same pixel density and brightness, just a bit smaller. It does lack that high refresh rate. That's available only on the iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max models. There's still a notch on the top of the display, but if you're watching videos about iPhones, I'm guessing you already know that. They all have them, and even though you could argue it doesn't look the best, it houses that Face ID technology, which is honestly my favorite way of unlocking my phone. It's instant, works at a lot of different angles, even in really dark environments, and I don't really care about the notch itself. I don't even notice it exists most of the time. But to you, I don't know, it may be an eyesore. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about the notch? All that being said, the display itself, step top. On the performance and software side of things, it has the A13 Bionic chip inside, and it's still a champ. It's really fast, there's no lag or stuttering whatsoever. That same chip is in the newer 2021 iPad as well, so you know it's still strong enough. Everything runs smoothly, it's great for gaming. I've edited a few videos with it with absolutely no problems, so it's still a beast. When it comes to software, it's the same as any other modern iPhone. It runs iOS 15 and it still has at least 3 or 4 more years of updates to come, so you are covered there. It is an iPhone. One of the main reasons I prefer them over most Android devices is in fact that software support and longevity that's guaranteed with every release. Alright, let's talk about the battery. It supports wireless charging as well as 18-watt wired fast charging. That should give you about 50% charge in around 30 minutes. The battery holds up surprisingly well. It did have great battery life when it came out, but I figured since it is a bit older and battery health on the one I have is only at 87% currently, I thought there would possibly be some issues, but it still gets me through the day no problem. I usually ended with around 30% left, maybe even a bit more, so unless you're a really heavy user, you're good to go. But if you are trying to get it used, just make sure the battery health is at least at around 85%. If you can find one in the 90s, that's even better. Because batteries do degrade over time, so the higher that number is initially, the longer it's gonna last. Logic. Since it is an older model, the 11 Pro still comes with a fast charger in the box, which is a plus because starting with iPhone 12, we don't really get that anymore. So the 11 Pro and 11 Pro Max are actually the only models from Apple that come with a fast charger included in the box. All iPhones before them, as well as the regular iPhone 11, all came with that slow 5-watt charger, and all iPhones after them don't have a charger at all. So this is actually a very rare opportunity to get a free fast charger from Apple. Alright, cameras. It has a triple camera setup on the back. It's a 12 megapixel f1.8 main wide lens, 12 megapixel ultra wide f2.4, and a 12 megapixel telephoto at f2, but a 2x optical zoom. 4K video up to 60 FPS, great stabilization, night mode on the main and the telephoto lens. Now, The ultra-wide does not support night mode, unfortunately. The front-facing camera also got an upgrade compared to the previous year. It jumped from 8 megapixels to a 12 megapixel true depth sensor, and even though it's not the best selfie camera out there, it still does the job pretty well. When it comes to the main cameras, I really love what this phone can do to this day. It has great dynamic range, colors are true to life, not too saturated or overprocessed, and in 99% of cases, the results are great. Having those 3 different focal lengths really gives you a lot to work with, but I feel like the main wide lens alone would be enough in most scenarios actually. It also has portrait mode that gives you that blurry background or an illusion of a shallow depth of field, and even though it's not perfect and the edge detection can be a hit or a miss in some demanding situations, it's mostly a nice feature to have. When it comes to video, it's honestly even better. Apple has been leading in the video department for the past several years, and the iPhone 11 series is, in my opinion, where they really perfected what they were trying to do with it, and it still holds up to this day. 4K smooth and crispy, again, dynamic range, colors, the works. So if you're looking for a good reliable camera in a smartphone and you don't have the budget or the need for that newest top-of-the-line groundbreaking stuff, iPhone 11 Pro is basically the next best thing. But hey, listen, should you pick up an iPhone 11 Pro in 2022? If you're looking for a fast, reliable phone with a great camera that's gonna last you for a couple of years for $550 or $600 depending on that storage option, this is a great choice. I'm gonna leave some Amazon links in the description if you wanna pick it up for yourself and help support the channel along the way. All in all, iPhone 11 Pro still has its place, still has a real premium feel to it, it doesn't feel outdated at all, and you won't be missing out on a lot compared to the 13 and 13 Pro. Alright, smash like, hit bell. Thanks for watching.